would you do if I told you that what you just heard was originally played by one man playing both the bass and the guitar part at the same time on the same instrument? Take a look at this clip. That's Charlie Hunter, who plays this weird guitar-bass instrument where you've got the bass strings on one side of the instrument and the guitar strings on the other. Essentially, he's just one man doing the work of two people at the same time. As a sideman, he's played on hit records with people like John Mayer, Frank Ocean, and Snarky Puppy, but probably most notably, alongside Spanky Alford and Pino Palladino, he influenced a generation of funk and neo-soul bass and guitar players on D'Angelo's seminal 2000 album, Voodoo, where you can hear him playing guitar and bass at the same time on tracks like The Root and Spanish Joint. While there are probably countless things you could say about Charlie Hunter, his ability to play almost any rhythmic feel completely authentically, the fact that he sounds like no one else I can think of, today we're going to focus on his use of counterpoint. First of all, what is counterpoint? In the dictionary, musical counterpoint is defined as the technique of combining two or more melodic lines in such a way that they establish a harmonic relationship while retaining their linear individuality. For me, this really nicely sums it up. Essentially, you're taking two or more elements that are interesting enough on their own, but together they can make something that's greater than the sum of its parts. The idea of using counterpoint to create the feeling of a musical conversation goes back hundreds of years, as seen here in Bach's The Art of Fugue. More recently, however, funk musicians have taken this idea of melodic and rhythmic counterpoint and really run with it. People like James Brown, The Meters, Average White Band and Sly and the Family Stone all make clear use of counterpoint to take their arrangements to the next level. Check out this cover of Just Kiss My Baby by The Meters, and really listen to the way that the guitar and bass parts leave a lot of room for each other to create that feeling of bouncing off one another. So this all takes us back to Charlie Hunter. He's the embodiment of counterpoint in modern funk music. The limitations of his instrument make use of counterpoint a necessity, not a choice. The fact that he's playing both the bass and the guitar at the same time means that essentially it's a lot easier for him if the guitar isn't playing while the bass is, and vice versa. This creates that feeling of one bouncing off the other. Let's take a look at the groove from the beginning of the video, and you can see what I mean. So essentially the entire groove is just a 2-bar vamp. First bar, A flat minor 7, then second bar, kind of a tonally ambiguous D flat. Sometimes it's a sus, sometimes minor 7, occasionally kind of a 9, dominant 7 sound. So I'll just go through each of the parts with a metronome. First, the bass part. 3, 4. And now the guitar part. 3, 4. So you can hear, even when they're not both playing together, that one is kind of leaving room for the other. When the bass is playing, the guitar isn't really playing, and vice versa. It just kind of gives that sound of one bouncing off the other and makes it sound a bit more coherent. So I'm not Charlie Hunter, so this won't sound great, but I'll try and play them together. 3, 4. So how can you as a guitarist or a bassist benefit from all this information? Well, when you're playing funk music, or pretty much any genre for that matter, it's good to try and think like an arranger as well as an instrumentalist. If you go to a jam and you're forced to come up with something on the spot, or if you're writing with bandmates, you can think about it in this way. You can maybe think, which parts of the bar are currently being inhabited by the bass, the drums, the keys, and where can I put my part that's going to be just a nice little place for it to sit? Going back to that dictionary definition, how can you create a part that establishes a harmonic relationship while retaining its melodic and rhythmic individuality? A really simple way of putting this principle into practice is by staying away from your instrument for as long as possible when you're trying to write a part. Listen to what else is going on around you. What are the other instruments playing? Then try and imagine a part and how it's going to fit in amongst all of that. This can lead to some melodically and rhythmically creative part writing in that you're using your musical imagination a lot more and you're not just letting your fingers do the writing for you. If you made it this far, thanks so much for watching. Please hit the like and subscribe buttons. It really helps the channel, and stay tuned for more.